people. Hope everyone's doing good. So I was sat the other day and I was just thinking about this. I sat down, I was watching a youth game for work. I'm looking and I'm watching and these players are really good. And then it got me thinking about Leeds. It genuinely got me thinking about how good our academy was. Is it at that level? And what I mean by that, and I'll show you some things in a minute, is if we have any injuries, a bit of an injury problem tomorrow, and we lose 4 or 5 players, is there anyone in that academy who I think can step up to the level, or somewhat of the level, obviously not the level, but somewhat of the level? And the answer is no, I don't think we do. Now, this is not by any means an indictment of the young players we have. I've done videos on these guys. There's some very good players. Everyone that plays in the academies are quality players. But then the other academies around us also have them. And their players are making appearances in the first team. And from what I've seen on our players, I don't think any of them are at a level yet where they can impact the game or the team, to really put a claim down to say, I want to play. I know people are going to be saying Sam Chambers, James DeBayo, Charlie Crew. Like I said, good players. I don't think they're good enough to impact the team. Like I said, I've been doing so much thingy for work, watching youth games and stuff like that, even League 1, League 2 games, and there's so many players in those leagues and from the youth ranks that are really talented, maybe playing National League North, the League 2, and not really getting on the pitch. It's such a huge difference between under-21s football and top-end championship football that you need some real talent that is ready at 18, 19 years old to come on the pitch. It's so difficult. It's such a high level that it's almost harsh to need any of them. But the fact of the matter is, we have the smallest squad in the league. And I'm seeing this a lot. Now, this is comparing 2 teams, both northern teams, both around us, geographically, teams that, especially Sheffield United, who you should be competing for young talent, maybe not Sunderland so much, but definitely Sheffield United. And I've looked at players from their academy who joined from the 18s. So this isn't players that joined at under 21s level, so obviously not Pascal, not Joseph, not Joffe. These are players that joined at 18 level, so played in the youth ranks. And we have Sam Byram. We know how long ago that was. And he's left and come back. Who they have right now compared to these guys? Look at Sheffield United. Andre Brooks has played 13 times for them this season. Ollie Arblaster 12 times and would have been every game, not for the injury, one of the best young players in the league. Sidney Peck joined at under 18s, played 18 times. And Ryan Wan played 7 times, scored a goal. And I look at Sunderland. Dan Neil, their captain, 20 times. Chris Rigg, we all know Chris Rigg, 20 times. Anthony Patterson, the goalkeeper, very good, 17 times. Tom Watson, by the way, and he's the player that made me think about this. Tom Watson came on for Sunderland. He just started for Sunderland 1 game and he looked ridiculous. All their talent, Mundle got an injury. Watson came in. He's been injured as well, I think, which is unfortunate. But he came in. He looks electric. He looked brilliant. He genuinely looks so good. He's got a bright future. We don't have that. That's what's got me thinking. We don't have that impact. I know people are going to be saying, yeah, if I couldn't choose him. And this is the point. This is from what I've seen. Not based on looking at the sheet. From what I've seen from these people, from the young players in our academy, our young players are not at a level of these guys. Why is that? Why are we not getting players at that level? And just go through our academy as well. I'm looking at the value of, let's look at our value of academy for an instance. 400k. It's all predominantly one player in Montero. There's no value there, particularly. And that's basically because they've not been anywhere. You get a value when you play predominantly either the first team, you get a first team cap, or you play out on loan. And none of our players really have. Really. Or they've not got a value because nothing happened when that happened. I look at Sheffield United's under 21s. 1.8 million. All our value, 400k from one player. Montero. Sheffield United, 1.8 million. And just look, 200k, 100k, 300k, 150k, 200k, 100k. What does that say? That says to me that there's not, at youth level, Leeds doesn't have the pull it used to. Now, I know everyone's going to say Archie Gray, Archie Gray's a Gray. He was at the club all that time because of Gray family, and he was born and bred Leeds from that family, the lineage that family has. Any one of his talent, for me, look what he's doing now, playing in the Premier League at centre-back for Spurs at 18 years old. Anyone of that talent wouldn't have lasted that long. I think they'd have left earlier. They're the lineage. They're the standard, right? And I know we had him, but that's the standard. That's the Leeds United lineage right there. And there's another one coming through. But I just think there's a huge difference in value and need. If we have a problem, can we bring on a young player? You know, I'm looking at our strikers, for example. Again, talented players. But 2 or 3 of them are on loan in the National League North. You know, Luca Thomas, very talented young player, obviously. Doing really well in his career, scoring goals at York. But he's at York. You know, this is my point. There's a few other players, central midfield players, who are probably the best at the 21s, are on loan. Keane Coleman, good player. Again, on loan, doing really well on loan in the National League North. Again. Compared to Sidney Peck, for example, or, you know, an Arblaster, these guys are good enough to at least be a part of the Sheffield United squad. I don't think we have that. People are screaming Charlie Crew. I think Charlie Crew's a League One player right now and should go on loan in League One. I think that's a good level for him. I'll just go through our squad, and this is just based on my experience. Do whatever, that's fine. Diego Montero, again, does he have, and this is a big issue for me, looking and watching all this under-21s football, most opposition guys are bigger than our players. And this is geographically, again, and I'll get into that in a minute, it's really important. All of our, at a young age, at our 13, 14, 15-year-olds that are big and look stronger and bigger than everyone else at that age are being pried away by Man City or other teams up there. That's the problem we're having. So when you look at Leeds United squad, look at them when they play other teams in the 21s. Most of them are all shorter. They don't look as physically imposing because most of them players have been pried away at a young age. Now I'm looking at Diego Montero, again, good player. Probably about 5'11", 6 foot, doesn't look physically strong, not huge. Therefore, not ready for the Championship at a centre-back. Same for Jeremiah Mullen, good player, and they're all good players, I'm going to keep saying it, but not physically right enough. Ruben Laporta-White is probably a bit of a difference here. He is quite a big physical guy, very inexperienced. James De Bayo, again, very tall guy, not physically demanding. When you're looking at Championship defenders and what you need to be effective in the Championship, I think James De Bayo is probably, again, a League 2, League 1 loan player right now. Chris Moore, probably National League. Tolson, probably National League North. Chadwick, who's a good player. I like Chadwick a lot. Very young, 17 still. He could be one to watch. But probably a National League or a League 2 loan player. Charlie Crew, for me personally, from what I've seen in the last few weeks, him and De Bayo in the 21s are not ready yet for the first team. Not even to be in contention, maybe in the Cup. But as a Championship, not for me. Probably a League 1 loan. Snowden, again, probably League 1, League 2 loan. McFadden, young player, but probably similar. Chambers is the only one, by the way, that I think could impact this season. And he's only 17. And at 17, he looks physically bigger and stronger than everyone else. He's the difference. He's the one here that I think can, but I still don't think he's ready. He's only 17 years old. And he looks as big and physically imposing as he does. You know, Marley Wilson, probably National League North. Amari Miller, I don't know what's going on with Amari. I hope he's all right. And Connor Douglas, the winger. Again, probably National League North or National League. And this is it. It's my observation of them. But this is another problem. Going through Manchester City only, looking at players here. Ian Noble plays for the under-21s Manchester City from Yorkshire. Matt Henderson Hall, good player by the way. Bradford. Sheffield. Brooklyn here. From Leeds. From the academy. Finley Gorman. We all know about Finley Gorman. From Leeds, from the academy at Leeds United. And this is the issue. You look at one notable aspect of all these guys. Go look at videos or pictures of them playing or whatever. You know, all. That's for a 21-year-old striker. Quick, agile, athletic, aggressive. They've Finley Gorman exactly the same. Not the tallest, but quick, agile. They've all got attributes that really stand out. You can't compete with Manchester City, and that's the problem. Where we are, you're looking at any good player at a young age is getting took away by Manchester City, Manchester United, even maybe Liverpool, you know, even maybe Newcastle. I still think there needs to be a strange strategy on the players we get, because I'm still looking at Sheffield United. I'd argue their academy is better than ours currently, because of the players they literally are brought through. You know, and I want our academy to be the best. I want us to be at the level where we have a clear path and an infrastructure that says we will develop you and we will create chances for you to play. But they've got to be good enough. And this is where I think, and this is no, like I said, no indictment on the young players we have. They're very good players. And can change, a lot can change in a year. They're all very young. They all grow. Potter White is a great example. Look at him 2 years ago. He's grown so much in 2 years. Like, honestly, he's grown about half a foot. It's ridiculous. But then real players at 16, 17 that you're looking at going, they're already 6 foot. They're already 5'10". You know, big, physical, or really quick. They're not athletes. They've been took away. But why has Sheffield United got these players who are ready for the Championship, but we don't have players that are ready? And I say ready, I mean by looking at them personally and going, I don't think they're ready. What's the difference? And this is something that Leeds have to look at for me, because I don't think the academy is as good as it used to be. Not even close, to be honest. How many ready players did we have in the Championship and League One that were ready consistently to play? We had loads of them. Loads of them. And Calvin Phillips, it took 2 years, but he was there, he was ready. We were not a good team back then, clearly. But there's just so many players that were ready to play in that league, even if it's just a squad role for this team that we have right now. You know? Byram's a great example. You know, Taylor, Mowat, Phillips. There were so many young lads. Jack Clark, a few years ago. It's different. There's so many young lads who, you know, Ronaldo Vieira, I could keep going on, played a key part in teams. I don't think we have that anymore. I think we need to get that back. And this, for me, is where the Red Bull infrastructure comes into it. Because, like I said, you have Man City and Man United. I don't even think you have to really compete with them. What you have to do is get some of these kids from Sheffield, get some of these kids from Bradford, get some of these kids from all these other northern places. You know? Man City can't have all of them. And is there a pathway? Is there an infrastructure? Is there a facility? Young people love an amazing state-of-the-art training facility that you can grow and develop at. Do we have that? Thorpe Arch is amazing. Thorpe Arch is amazing. But is it as good as it can be? I don't think so. Is there the infrastructure there, the facilities there that get these young players, maybe from abroad, to come into Leeds United at 14, 15, 16 years old to really develop into top players? And then at the age of 17, 18, depending on where we are, we're looking at them going, they can play a part in the first team. That's what we need. I'm looking at the lad at, I forget his name, is it Dibley? At Dibley, something like that, Doblin, something like that. You know, the guy at Southampton. Where's he come from? I just think we lack that. And obviously, the outlier for me is Archie Gray, because he's a Gray, and he's only here because he was a Gray. That's why he was at the club. He'd have gone earlier for me if he wasn't. They have that loyalty. But yeah, I don't think we have to compete with the Man City. I think we have to compete with the other Yorkshire teams, the Sheffield Uniteds, for example, because their academy, in my opinion, right now, produces better players than ours. Players that are better suited to play for the first team earlier than ours are. I think there's a big disconnect between the 21s football and our first team in terms of that kind of open age male looking footballer. I think there's a big difference. Very good young players in our team, but they don't seem to develop after 1920. They seem to stagnate and then get sold. I think something needs to be looked at there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Everyone have a Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys in a few days. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Peace.